Hi, my name is Katie Peck, and my issue today is dress codes in educational environments. While we can agree that schools are a place of education, they are also a place of development for children and young adults. Much of our early lives are spent in school. It's where we learn and make friends. It's also where we're taught about many of the basic rules we follow in our daily lives. We must recognize how dress codes disproportionately impact girls and women. Our clothing is regulated as to not distract our fellow students from their learning. As a result, from a very young age, we as young girls are taught that we are distracting, that our clothes prevent others from focusing on schoolwork, that we should be treated with less respect than others based on the clothes we decide to wear. Why should young women be responsible for the behavior of those around us? Dress codes are a form of objectification and promote society's over-sexualization of young women. While I believe that dress codes may be necessary to a certain extent, I think that, as a whole, dress codes should be adapted to be fair for everyone throughout a school. We should be free to express ourselves in school to the same extent as other groups via our clothing. Some may say that dress codes are needed. To this, I would like to point out the sexism that dress codes are built upon. Dress codes primarily target young girls in school rather than having a policy that regulates each person's clothing fairly. Now I'm going to share some of my personal experiences with dress codes at my school. This past year, my school implemented a much stricter dress code. With this change, if you violate the dress code, you have two choices. You can either leave school or turn your shirt into the office and wear a school-provided t-shirt for the remainder of the day. Say you show a portion of your midsection, and you have two options, to either be embarrassed in front of your classmates or to miss out on vital education. All of this for simply showing a body part that school officials have deemed inappropriate and distracting, a body part that we all have. Since talking with girls from my school, I realized how big of an issue this has become. Being dress coded and having to wear a school shirt in front of your classmates is embarrassing and degrading. Students are expected to go through the class day and have everyone around them recognize that you were dress coded. Further, it's important to acknowledge how dress codes play into rape culture. Dress codes promote victim blaming of young women in school environments. Schools are inherently teaching young girls that their treatment is dependent on the clothes that they wear, and thus they are responsible for the actions of others. To add on to this point, I'd like to discuss the Texas A&M University's Memorial Student Center, in which an exhibit titled "What Were You Wearing?" presents a number of different outfits and stories behind sexual assaults. Pictured are clothing such as sweats and an army uniform. After this exhibit opened, many people had similar ideas. In these other exhibits, we see children's clothing and other outfits. This is all to say that regardless of your clothing, individuals are not to blame for their maltreatment by those around them. It's important to recognize that society has a false narrative of women, which dress codes play into. Women deserve the respect and dignity that everyone else receives, regardless of their choice of clothing. My call to action is that we should collectively work to change school dress codes. While this may seem like a daunting task, regardless, it is important to create such a monumental change, to break down the barrier that prevents women from speaking out against violence. Many women today are scared to come forward with their stories of harassment and assault. This comes from the question so commonly asked when many come forward. The question, "What were you wearing?" This question alone can be traced back so easily back to what we are taught as a whole from a young age. School dress codes teach children that it is what you are wearing. If your skirt was too short or your midsection was showing, then that would mean it's your fault. We need to change that perspective. By changing our dress codes, this question may not be asked as much. By changing our dress codes, we may finally be able to reprimand the behavior of those who are apparently distracted in class, rather than punishing the victims. That's my call to action, and I hope that as a collective, we can work together to change our school dress codes and break down that false perspective that society holds of women. That's all. Thank you.